Hello and welcome to Sega News Bits. I'm your host George, and with me is Barry.
Hello.
And today we're going to be talking about a Sega survey, another Sega survey. I feel like we make a video every couple of years about Sega doing surveys, but this time it was Sega of America, not Sega of Japan. There was one a couple of years ago that was done by Sega of Japan for their Japanese audience. Finally, we get to speak on retro franchises, but in America. So they're hearing us, and that's a good thing. So let's go into the retro franchises they put in the survey. This was one page where you could just basically list the franchises you liked. One of the questions was like, which one of the following Sega games do you own? So it'd be like Sonic the Hedgehog, Yakuza, Super Monkey Ball, Bayonetta, Gunstar Heroes, Shinobi, Jet Set Radio, Phantasy Star, Phantasy Star Online, Sakura Wars, Shining, which is Shining Force, Altered Beast, Virtual Fighter, Streets of Rage, Valkyria Chronicles, Puyo Puyo, Project Diva, Shenmue, Football Manager, Total War, Golden Axe, House of the Dead, Virtual Tennis, Crazy Taxi. Which ones of these surprise you that are listed here, Barry? And which ones do you think should have been on here that kind of went under the radar?
I think Bayonetta and Gunstar Heroes surprised me just because they're really not... I mean, they are Sega games. I don't want to get into that, but they're definitely not like games that Sega's currently pushing, especially with Bayonetta.
And it's kind of funny because we're going to go into it later, but Bayonetta had its own page with way more info, like, do you want ports? They even listed Bayonetta 2, asking fans if they played that one. So it's kind of interesting, but yeah, Jet Set Radio's on here, which is, I think, a big one that a lot of fans have really wanted to come back. I think that's the one, if we look at all these games, Virtual Fighter, Jet Set Radio, and maybe something like House of the Dead. I've seen a lot going on, but way more Jet Set Radio than all of these.
Yeah.
But yeah, so which franchise would you like replace Gunstar Heroes with, if you had to?
Is Choo Choo Rocket on there?
Nuh-uh.
I don't know, maybe that one. I don't know.
There's Knights too that did not make this, which is kind of weird.
Yeah, that is weird. I think
a
lot of Saturn titles deserve a slot on here, I think.
Yeah, I've noticed that it's very basically the newer games, right? Like Yakuza and some of the Genesis games and a lot of Dreamcast stuff. Shinobi's obviously, it makes sense. I really want a new Shinobi, so I'm really hoping people actually did that. I want a new fan. I want everything. Just get it over here. We were talking about how games got their own page so people could fill out. These are the games that Sega really focused on, which makes me think that we're going to have a lot of new entries for at least these franchises, or they're thinking about it. Sonic the Hedgehog, obvious. Yakuza, obvious. Super Monkey Ball, not so obvious. Bayonetta, which is surprising. Phantasy Star and Phantasy Star Online, which they separated, which is interesting. Sakura Wars. Shining, which we already got Resonance over here, and it's been a while, so it's obvious they want to promote that game. Valkyria Chronicles, which we got for last year. And Puyo Puyo, which we also started getting over here recently. So what do you think about these games that Sega wanted to know more about? They basically asked, what do you want? Ports, remasters, the next game into these franchises? And they asked a bunch of questions. Why do you think they focused on these games? Or do you think Sega really wants to bring back Super Monkey Ball or Bayonetta?
I think they focused on these games because they're the most viable ones right now, either because re-releases would do really well for them, or they've just been kind of away for a while. Like, I'm surprised there hasn't been a new Super Monkey Ball in a while, especially on the Switch. I think that's kind of surprising it wasn't like a Switch launch title, to be honest. And also, I think they're gauging people's interest for a potential Sakura Wars in the West, which I think's happening. But maybe maybe they're just gauging how much of a budget to put into it, because, you know, something like maybe Judgment's a bad example right now, but something like Judgment, they're like, you get a sticker.
Yeah.
Whereas something like Yakuza, they're like, oh, you get a premium box. So maybe they're thinking, well, maybe there's a bigger fan base than we think for Sakura Wars, so we should put a little more budget into the marketing and to the release.
And so, yeah, like all these games, they're always asking about remasters, re-releases, or whatever. I think a lot of these should try it. Like, I think Super Monkey Ball 1 and 2 with some updates and, you know, modernization here and there. I think that would do pretty good on the Switch, like you said. The other one is Phantasy Star and Phantasy Star Online. Personally, to me, I think if they're going to bring Phantasy Star Online back to the West or worldwide, they should focus on something like, I'm not saying it should be like Monster Hunter, but it should be not on a server. They should be thinking maybe more like the first one, where you drop in, you go on a quick mission, you get some loot, you go back to your lobby, you hang out, that kind of stuff. Maybe like a Phantasy Star Online Redux, where it's like they fix the shooting and all this, make it easier, third-person shooter, but there's a lot of cool potential here. The last bit that I want to talk about in this survey, and I think everybody should take this survey, by the way, so if you're watching this, take the survey. It's in the description, the link. It's about pre-orders. So they were asking basically what you like, physical, why you like physical, and then later on they started telling me, at least in the survey, what can they do to make me buy digital. And some of the stuff was like early access, free, like extras for buying digital. What do you think about Sega thinking about going digital? Because I know me and you, we're more of a physical person. We're always going to go out and buy them. We get free physical codes from Sega. I mean, free codes from Sega to preview the games, and I still buy the games. So, physically. So, what do you think about this?
Man, I don't know. What do you think? You tell me.
Well, I mean, digital is... I like digital. There's nothing wrong with digital. I buy all my games digital on the PC, but for consoles, for some reason, I still like buying physical. I like that Sega is giving you free stuff when you buy them day one, which I think works really well. And that's just my opinion on this.
I mean, I guess the scary thing about digital is they can pull it whenever they want. They can, this will sound, like a tinfoil hat, but they can go in and alter your content whenever they want. We've seen that actually with Kingdom Hearts 3, with the voice actor for the Frozen Snowman. What is his name? Olaf.
He's also, Olaf. Yeah, he's also the actor for Judgment, which made them pull the game, and they're probably going to patch him out.
Yeah, and it's just like the fact that like you log in and it'll be like, hey, your digital title, it won't start up until you update it, and so it's like, shit, what are they taking away from me? I don't know, like, I feel like there will always be a place for physical items. I never buy into people going, well, digital's dying. I'm like, when digital dies, or physical's dying, and when physical dies, like, what's left? Like, you don't own anything.
Pretty much, but I guess some people would even make the thing say, some people would say that we never even owned anything, so... I mean, I think it's personal preference. I think there's still a lot of us out there that buy physical. I buy physical on titles I really, really like, which is more just Japanese games. But, I just like collecting video games. I think we're a totally different market than most people, but it would be interesting to see what people answer in the survey. So what do you guys think about this survey? What franchises weren't in the survey that you wanted to see Sega add in? And what do you want to see the future of Sega be? You want them to like start going back into their catalog? Let us know in the comments below, and thanks for watching. Bye.
Bye.